always go right there. You need to not be right there all the time because everyone just stares at you and they wonder, why do I have Ray's side boob on my bed? Hello everyone, I'm back! I feel like I've said that many times this year, but today we're gonna do something fun. We're gonna talk about my current fictional boyfriends. Ooh! My outfit today does not belong in my pretty princess bedroom, but I figured I'd dress a little saucy. So I did this video back in 2014. Did I rewatch it before I filmed this? No, because that's embarrassing. I can't watch those videos from way back, but I do somewhat remember who is on that video, and I think I have a few characters that are still in this list today. But this is Natasha, 2020 Natasha. She's been through a lot. She's only had one boyfriend. She hasn't experienced love. 2014 Natasha and 2020 Natasha still have one thing in common. They're desperately and deeply in love with the fictional characters. Before we get into this list, I would like to talk about my sponsor for this video. So today's sponsor is Book of the Month. It is a dearly loved subscription service for people who love to read. Book of the Month is a subscription service. Do you all remember when I used to do like thousands of subscription services like a year? I was on a roll there for these unboxings. But this one is specifically for people who are wanting to discover new adult releases. Book of the Month sheds light on hyped up books, new releases, and sometimes some well-beloved stories. Book of the Month has a lot of thrillers and romances. I got June's Book of the Month box, and like literally everyone and their mother would tell me to get that box because it had this story about a plus-sized woman who became like the Bachelorette. And I haven't read it yet, but it is high up on my list to read and I can't wait. Whoop! Let's see what's in the box. You've got great taste. You can pick from 5 different books per month. I have all 5 from September's. So we have Transcendent Kingdom by Ya Gisaya. Gasai? I hope I'm saying that right. Beautiful cover. I love that Book of the Month. They have their logo on all of these books so that you know that it's from this box. We have Anxious People by Frederick Blackman. And The Last Story of Mina Lee by Nancy June Kim. Okay, then I got another box and it has 2 of the other books. So this one is Cased, The Origins of Our Discontents by Isabel Wilkerson. In this brilliant book, Isabel Wilkerson gives us a masterful portrait of an unseen phenomenon in America as she explores through an immersive, deeply researched narrative and stories about real people how America today and throughout its history have been shaped by a hidden caste system, a rigid hierarchy of human rankings. Beyond race, class, and other factors, a powerful caste system influences people's lives and behaviors and the nation's fate. This one is Winter Counts, a novel by David Heska Wanbili Wyden. I love to see a diverse range of books that you can pick from, especially if this is like a box that's coming to you every single month. The curated picks you're able to expand your mind into, read more about people's stories that you wouldn't have necessarily read before. I know that they've been working on bringing a more diverse reading list to people who subscribe. I'm so happy to see that displayed here in the books right now. I'm definitely not a big YA reader anymore. I read mainly adult books, unless right now I'm reading Midnight Sun. I love that they have romance and thrillers. I've just been recently getting into thrillers. What have I been missing? You can get your first month of Book of the Month for $9.99 with a code down below or right here on the screen. When you get the box, you can add 1 book and then an additional 2 books. This could be past books that they had in their boxes, new releases, things like that. If you're worried that you're not gonna like the books on each list every single month, don't worry, because you can always pause your subscription service, which is great. You don't have to cancel it, but you can just pause it for that month and save it for the next month and you won't get charged. And then if you head over to bookofthemonth.com, you can sign up for your first box. And don't forget the coupon code, which is down below. I hope you guys check it out. Now, let's talk about my new fictional boyfriends. I have been reading, not as much as I used to, but one thing that I do is I am still forever and always a fangirl. I'll always be a fangirl. That's just who I am. It's a part of me. And I'm still thirsty as hell. I was at a photo shoot this last week, and we were like, at night we were watching one of the Nicholas Sparks movies, and I just exclaimed, you know, after watching the two characters kiss, and I'm just like, I just want a boyfriend. I'm perfectly fine being independent and single, and I love it. I hate texting people all day, but you know what? I would like to be in a relationship to have those feelings. But anyways, I can get those from movies and TV shows, so let's talk about that. Let's start from the bottom. I only have like 3 book characters on here, by the way. Okay, so maybe 4. My first fictional boyfriend, who I don't think made it into the fictional boyfriend list because I haven't read the book yet in 2014. Maybe I did. Is Jamie Fraser. Of course, Jamie Fraser. You know, I haven't been watching Outlander. I read Dramas of Autumn. I read the first 4 books, and then after that, I was rather bored because it wasn't centralized to Jamie and Claire. And I really don't like the actress who plays Brianna. Roger's great, but I don't typically care about them. But Jamie will forever and always be one of my fictional boyfriends. I love him dearly, and I love Sam Heughan, who portrays him amazing. There are very few people on this list who are not portrayed in films or TV shows. Unless you have like a face or someone an actor you can put to a fictional boyfriend. It's hard to keep up that like burning love for them. Jamie Fraser will forever and always be one of my boyfriends. He was such an integral part of my adult life, early adult life. I will never ever forget the experiences I had because of Outlander and because of Jamie Fraser. Next. Yeah. So when I saw this guy in Black Panther, I fell madly in love with him, and that is M'Baku. I was deeply affected by Chadwick Boseman's recent death. Literally cried for about 5 hours. And I'm going to take this to a little bit of a dark place, but losing my parents, it is very easy for me to be extremely sympathetic to the people who are his nearest and dearest, and I can't imagine what they're going through right now. So I cry usually when any known person who I loved and beloved. So I just had to say that because I'm extremely sad about his passing. But M'Baku from Black Panther, he is good. He is good looking. You know, and it's not just like about like the good looks, you know, like it has to be about like the personality. And for him, he is super, super alpha male, but super alpha male in like a respectful kind of way. I read some of his comics because I loved the character so much on the film screen. Yeah, I can get behind M'Baku. He's definitely one of my favorites, my new favorites from the Marvel universe. All right, another Marvel character. This is the Winter Soldier. I have 3 Marvel characters on here. The Winter Soldier is my favorite movie of the MCU. Sebastian Stan he is an incredible actor who brings this character to life. And I will forever and always ship him with Black Widow because it's in the comics, and I loved reading that. As a lot of you know who have been longtime viewers here on Tashapolis, you know that I have a thing for redemption and for kind of bad, moody boys. I remember when I first saw him, not as Bucky, but as the Winter Soldier. Yes, my feelings were cemented then, and I know a lot of people love him. I mean, I love Cap too, but it's the Winter Soldier for me. One of my new favorite books recently is Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which was published in 2015. I read it maybe like 2-3 years ago, but it's definitely one of like my top 3 favorite books of all time. And the main character in that is Dragon, and he's like this sorcerer, not someone that I particularly is described as thinking is attractive. His just air and the way he presents himself and just the sexual tension in that whole book was amazing. I definitely encourage you guys to read it. It's an adult, like, high fantasy novel. I won't ever go back to reading YA. No, I still read YA fantasy. He is incredible, and I just yearning that whole time for them to get together. An oldie but goodie, Captain Hook from Once Upon a Time. Now, it has been several years since the show ended, and I actually got a question a while back on my Instagram asking if I ever watched the last season of Once Upon a Time, and I never actually finished it. I started watching it, but I never finished it. I watched the last episode because I just couldn't. It was very hard for me to watch it, but like I did reviews of every half season from like back in 2016. That show was my everything for such a long time, and it's here deep in my heart forever and ever, just as like X-Files is one of my favorite shows of all time. But Once Upon a Time and Captain Hook, one of the best characters and portrayals of him, and he's just so saucy. So if you guys are looking for a show to binge in its entirety, you should definitely binge Once Upon a Time. And when Captain Hook steps on the scene in season 2, just wait. He's the best. I love him. I have the Once Upon a Time book. I have the Hook. I do have Colin O'Donoghue. He's the guy who plays Captain Hook. I have a statue of him, and it's signed from my dear friend Jessie. Jessie Elise, not Jessie the Reader. I just have something for Guyliner. Draco Malfoy! What? I don't know if he was in my last video. I'm almost done reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Finally. When I started my booktube channel, I had never even read a single one of Harry Potter. But I have seen the movies and I know them religiously. My brother and I love the films. We watch them about twice a year, and we're due for a rewatch. But Draco Malfoy is someone that I have always found intriguing even as a young girl. But then my junior year of high school, I found out about Hermione fanfiction, and that changed everything for me. I also have a thing for very like unhealthy relationships, but you know, that's just what I like. And I know they're unhealthy, so you don't need to tell me. Draco in the books, he's a lot more evil than I think he was in the movies. I still love when he comes, you know, into play, and I still think he brings something spicy to the scene. It's another redemption thing. I love a villain character who turns to the good side, kind of. That is something that I know about myself. So, like, I was just watching Mulan, which I probably shouldn't say this because it's a spoiler, but in the Mulan, there's a character who has a bit of a Kylo Ren redemption arc. And I'm like, ooh, I like this. One of my favorite things is to see a character who's super, super, super selfish turn into someone who is selfless. And I just think that's so sexy. Alright, this is someone we all share. This is Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses. I used to have a Rhysand pillow, but I actually got rid of it. I got rid of a few of my pillows on my bed. I don't know if can we see. I will never ever forget him and the amazing arc he had in those books. Okay, again, a redemption arc. We thought he was awful and evil and mean, but then he turns into the best character ever that lived in fiction. And he's tall, dark, broody, and handsome. And a fairy. Can just someone like write a character like me, who looks like me, who's plus size, who has dark hair, who's Greek, with a guy that looks like Rhysand, or Henry Cavill as I had pictured him. Another thing about Rhysand is that he is a selfless lover. Okay, next, Mr. Darcy! I think Mr. Darcy was on my last list. As I've said before in many videos, Pride and Prejudice is my favorite movie of all time. The 2005 version with Keira Knightley. I like the book. I like Sense and Sensibility better. I actually have a full breakdown of Jane Austen novels and Jane Austen movies if you want to go check those out above. Doesn't matter which portrayal I watch. I love a good dark broody character. I love a good like enemies to lovers type of situation. And I think Mr. Darcy was the beginning of it all. Mrs. Darcy. Mrs. Darcy. Just call me Mrs. Darcy, please. Like, my future husband is gonna have a lot to live up to, okay? I think a reason why I'm single is because no one is good enough. No one's good enough. No one's Mr. Darcy. No one is Rhysand. Sucks. Why? Why did I have to read these books? I'm pretty sure this guy was in my last list, but that was a time when, like, I kind of fell out of love with Twilight. Not really. I just kind of forgot about Twilight. Nah, I didn't forget about Twilight. Who could ever forget about Twilight if it were me? Like, I was a crazy fangirl. Edward is what the OG book boyfriend in my life, okay? Because Twilight was like the first novel that I devoured by myself. And reading Midnight Sun, he's a little bit of an asshole, but I love it. I love reading the complexities of his mind and the way he battles with the inner monster that Like, he's a monster. I forgot about that. But I don't care. I still love Edward. It still baffles me how quickly he fell in love with Bella and how vice versa, she fell in love with him. You know, reading Midnight Sun, I really, really adored Jasper and Emmett. I've always loved Emmett. Back then, you know, you used to be like, oh, Team Edward, Team Jacob. I was always like, I'm Team Emmett, and I'm still Team Emmett. Top 3. Can anyone guess these? I'll give you a second. Probably not this one. Thor. I'll never forget, like, being in high school and watching Chris Hemsworth and just, like, being obsessed with him. I think the first Thor came out when I was, like, 17 or 18, and I was definitely obsessed with him. He was one of the most pinned persons on my Pinterest back in, like, 2011, 2012. I still love his character. I still love Chris Hemsworth and his portrayal of him. One of my favorite comics I read was him and Lady Sif. I was obsessed with Lady Sif because I thought she looked like me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be with Thor because I look like Lady Sif. Where's my Thor pillow? Thor! He's definitely my number one, like, Marvel boyfriend. This guy, I love any person that he plays, so we're gonna put it out here right now. So Henry Cavill is my, like, main celebrity crush, I would say. I've been obsessed with Henry Cavill, I think, since Tudors, when he was on the show in 2008. I was in 8th grade. Let's just put that in perspective. And then he became Superman, and I was like, yes. As he gets older, he just ages like a fine wine. But he is everything that I find attractive. He's tall, he is British, he's very suave and charming. Yeah, so he encompasses what I just find extremely attractive. And I mean, I don't think anyone, I don't know, some people don't like Henry Cavill, some of my friends don't, but I do. I think he's, like, the most attractive. And you know what? I always forget about this. Stephenie Meyer wanted him to play Edward Cullen. I totally forgot about that. I got off track there. The Witcher. Alex and I listened to the first, like, 3 Witcher books. I don't find those stories at all entertaining reading them. I kind of like them. I was very confused. I really like Yennefer. She's my favorite character. But The Witcher, like, Henry Cavill portraying The Witcher is, like, my favorite thing. I didn't play the games. Just, like, the way he, like, cusses. He's still wearing that white wig, but I don't care. I still think he's extremely attractive. And he's just so manly. Like, he's just so manly. I just need, like, my husband needs to be, like, a manly man, kind of, who can also, like, clean. I can't wait for Witcher number 2. I think he's filming it right now. I don't know. They might be. I think a lot of productions are back. So I think he might be doing that. And last, if you guys know me, you'll be able to guess this one. But number 1, one of my favorite fictional fandom boyfriends is Kylo Ren. Now, if you didn't guess that, something's wrong with you. Maybe you're new here. I love Kylo Ren with a burning passion. I love Reylo, but I love Kylo Ren. It's that whole redemption arc. I never really truly liked any of the Star Wars men until Adam Driver came on the scene. But even the first movie, like, it took me a while to, like, actually, like, find him extremely attractive and just, like, want to root for him. I once told my girls at church, who are juniors in high school, that I love Kylo Ren, Adam Driver, and they literally laughed in my face and said, like, he has such a big body and a tiny head. And I'm just like, no, girls, no, you don't understand, okay? You don't understand. He's weirdly attractive, Adam Driver is, but Kylo Ren, it's the dark, broody, like, I'm hurt, someone please redeem me, like, bring me to the light side. I don't know. I just want him to be my boyfriend. Yeah. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little comeback that I randomly do here and there. Thank you again to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys check out the subscription service. The link is down below again, just to remind you guys, and maybe you can find some new bookish boyfriends too. I hope to be back. I'm trying to do 1 video a week. We shall see. But thank you all so much for watching. I'm Natasha. I hope to see you guys in the future. Please subscribe down below if you are not yet subscribed to be notified when I post new videos. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, where I am live and active there daily. I'll see you guys all in the future. Keep calm and fangirl on. Bye!